3, 2, 1.
What's going on, everyone? This is Jake here from WeTradeHQ. Good to see you guys. We are on episode 6 of To The Point podcast, where we go over the latest stock market, crypto news, give our thoughts, our opinions, and let you guys know what's going on in the current market. I'm here with my good friend Sam, who's wearing a nice blue shirt with some circles on it.
I'm the founder of Blue Shirt with Circles on it.
Yeah, that's him. So, excited to start today. We got some funny news items. But first, we always got to start with a meme, because I think memes make everyone's life better. It makes you smile, and it's good to start the podcast off with.
I haven't looked at memes for like half an hour. Let's go.
Let's go. So we got some memes from Wall Street Bets. Wall Street Bets is a pretty funny subreddit that has stock market / finance memes. So we got a caption here of Khaleesi from Game of Thrones and Thor. First, it starts off with the caption goes, Wall Street Bets, options trading will make you rich, make you so rich. And then we have some sarcastic looking faces. It can also wreck you really quickly.
That's right. That's for sure.
Options, obviously, everyone knows are much more volatile because you're trading contract prices, and that could decrease in value over time. They have all these Greeks associated with them in calculations, and generally they're $10 or less per contract for some of the contracts that expire sooner, so it's much more volatile, and it's well shown through their faces.
So with options, you're leveraging, right?
You're leveraging, yep.
So you can also you can multiply your gains, but you can also multiply your losses, right?
Exactly.
Right on.
Hey, we watched a documentary last night.
We did, yes, about the housing crash in 2008.
Yeah.
That was a great documentary.
Yeah,
I highly recommend it.
It went over the falling of the Lehman Brothers, and they obviously, everyone knows they used a lot of leverage at their peak, like 44 to 1. So
That's
every $1 they were investing, they leveraged up to 44 times. So it can increase profits, but it can also decrease losses very quickly. And what was it called again? I forget.
I don't remember, but what was specifically interesting was you mentioned that 44 to 1 ratio with their leveraging ratio.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, quite a significant amount higher than all the other banks at that time.
The other banks were like 30.
Yeah. So that was significant. I think that was an obvious indicator that nobody really saw. Yeah.
They got too greedy. That was it.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that's that. That's our meme. Let's start off with our first news item. We got John McAfee, quite a controversial personality in this world.
So I've heard.
But we all know he's, he founded the McAfee virus systems. He sold it for a couple million back in the day, a while ago, and he's no longer associated with it, but that's what brought him to fame. Recently, everyone knows that he's very, very interested in cryptocurrencies. He's totally believes it's the future, and he's very invested in it. So the news item today is John McAfee announced that he's going to be releasing a Bitcoin debit card very, very soon, and a lot of people have a hard time believing him because of some of the stuff he says on Twitter. He has said many, many false promises on Twitter, numerous amounts. You can easily Google search them, but people have a hard time believing him. So let's dive more into it. So he tweeted about, I think Monday or Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. He tweeted yesterday. My apologies. Once again, he's usually in the Bahamas. That he's releasing a new crypto debit card. It's supposed to be Visa branded, and basically you're going to be able to pay with Bitcoin with this Visa branded debit card, which is not, it's unheard of pretty much.
Do you think this would be good for Bitcoin?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, the more transactions, the better, because it allows for more liquidity for sure. Right. But it takes like a long time to transfer a Bitcoin, if I recall correctly. I'm no crypto expert at all, but if I recall correctly, it can take like hours.
Yeah, Bitcoin is, I'm not sure specifically how it works, but it's way behind in the transaction processing speed as opposed to other cryptocurrencies out there.
Yeah, there is faster ones, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyways, it also looks very, like the card actually looks very
gimmicky.
It looks gimmicky and just stupid. It has his face on it with the American flag in the background and all these tech icons as the stars. And it says "Freedom Lover" on the bottom left, and it also has an advertising for his presidential campaign in 2020 with the slogan "Get Your Soul Back." So this is very hard to believe. McAfee says a lot of stuff, but if he pulls through on this, good for him. It's I don't believe it. It seems pretty crazy. I don't know if people will buy this, but he says a lot of stuff on social media and he doesn't really back it up. So I thought it was funny as a news item. I don't think it's going to happen. Will a Bitcoin debit card happen in the future, or is it happening now? 100%. I just don't know if McAfee will be leading that charge.
It's coming in at an interesting time, too, with the whole Apple credit card and everything like that. Everybody wants to release their own credit card now because
they have the infrastructure, right?
Sure. Yeah. Visa exists all around the world, just like MasterCard and American Express, maybe in North America, but...
Yeah. So, anyways, and to finish this off, he says, the first 12,000 cards will have his face on it. After that, all the cards will be shipped plain. My haters will have to wait. That's quoted from John McAfee. So that's our first news item. Let us know below in the comments if you believe John McAfee. He's a crazy dude, but he's also very awesome. He's done a couple good things, and he built up a multi-million-dollar company during the dot-com bubble. So good for him. But yeah, that's the first news item. Take it away there, Sam.
Well, I mean, good for him.
Yep.
I never heard of the dot-com bubble thing with him, but you know what? In a situation where most companies are failing, he made it out. So good for him.
Yep.
So I will start off with my news item here. We're talking about Instagram. Did we talk about Instagram last week, or was it the week before?
We talked about Facebook.
Okay. Yep. So on the topic of Instagram, kind of related to Facebook because obviously they're owned by Facebook.
Yep.
So Adam Mosseri, the head of Instagram, on Tuesday announced that the social network is going to test hiding like counts from their users.
Wow.
So the specifics of that is, if I'm scrolling through my news feed, or my Instagram feed. I won't be able to see the number of likes on each user's post. I think some of the details did mention that I can manually count out all the users in a list to see who liked it, but I can't see an immediate count.
Yeah.
Which I think their specific justification was to create a less pressurized environment. Those are the words of Adam Mosseri. And you know what? In today's day and age, I think this is good. Instagram has become overly competitive on all levels. You could run a business on Instagram, you can make some money, but I think sometimes the whole competitiveness of Instagram has been, eating away at some people's lives and making things a little bit more complicated than they have to be.
Yeah.
Social media is taking over our world, our everyday life, and I think it's better off if it's not a competition. What do you think?
I think, so first I'll give my 2 cents on removing this like thing. I think it's good because I like to see posts with more comment engagements, actual real people commenting instead of bots. And with likes, it's easier for these bots to automatically like something. It's just a click of a button or, pressing something. So I think it's going to be a really good sign of showing, whoever's creating unique content, it'll be easier to see, okay, this posted really well because a lot of people are commenting it. You won't know how many people are liking it, but you'll see people reacting to the post. So I think it's good overall. And on the bigger topic of social media taking over our world, I mean, it took over our world once Facebook was released. Yeah, it's just scaling, and it's almost at its
scaling rapidly.
Yeah, it's almost at 100%. Like eventually everyone's gonna have a social media account as soon as they're born. For Christ's sake. So
yeah, that's a good point. I mean, not everybody has it just yet, but I think soon everyone's going to be online. It's only going to take a couple of years.
You know what I hate about social media is people portray, the creators like Mark Zuckerberg, Jack Dorsey as evil people, when in reality, I don't think they're evil at all. No. They just created a product to help connect people, and through social media, we're seeing the truths of how people act, of how people are. Yeah. Because now they can post their feelings, their thoughts. Yeah. Maybe before, back in like 1999, someone was mad or jealous or trying to flex on someone, it was harder to do that because you had to see them in person or see it on TV. But now, you know, you can post for free. You can post on Facebook, Instagram for free. So if you want to show your emotions, your jealousy, or your love, or you want to flex on someone, it's a lot easier now, and now we see that faster.
Yeah.
So I just don't get why people are like, oh, Mark Zuckerberg's evil, I'm never giving him my data again. It's like he's just providing a platform for you to do stuff on.
Everyone uses it.
Yep.
Or almost everyone uses it. And, you know, they've just created a platform. They've created a medium for us to share our lives every day. You know what they used to say? Don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah.
You know, Facebook and Instagram, they're just the messenger.
100%.
They get the information from A to B, but the information is not theirs.
Yep.
Necessarily.
And you choose to go on their platform. You choose to sign up to Facebook.
You make that decision.
Yeah. So if it's so good that you're signing up, then that's just a sign, you know, that they're good. So anyways, we'll see how it plays out. I haven't seen it yet. I mean, I was on Instagram today and I could still see my likes. But just to add, post creators can still see their likes, just not people viewing it. So we'll see how it plays out. You know, will it help businesses? Will it help personal brands? We'll see in the coming weeks. Maybe we'll report back on it in a couple of weeks there. And
before we close off on that one, I wanted to mention, they didn't say anything about counting the comments. Mm-hmm. So that'll be interesting to see if there's a comment count or whatever that might be. We'll see what happens. Social media is a giant, and we will just let it play out. Let it play out.
It's a big mountain. So.
Yeah, for sure.
That's that. All right. Third news item. We have a huge week for earnings this week. Apple's reporting earnings. Alphabet, GE, Pfizer, Merck, General Motors. Big companies are reporting their earnings this week, so it's a big roller coaster. And once again, the Fed has released, the Federal Reserve of the United States has multiple reports this week, so it's just a massive roller coaster. It's a massive just storm of like all this data and people releasing stuff, so it's very interesting. But to dive right into it, about 150 companies from the S&P 500 are reporting this week, and Jerome Powell of the Federal Reserve, the chairman, he's still expected to keep markets calm, saying, hey, you know, interest rates are staying the same. You know, they're remaining steady, and no major changes. You know, he's being once again very dovish. We're just trying to be peaceful with the economics in reporting. We had a very, very strong report. I say we, you know, we're Canadian. The United States.
The United States.
United States.
Our neighbors down south.
Our neighbors down south had a very strong report on Friday. Overall, 3.2% report of economic growth in their first quarter. So that's amazing. You know, 3% in a quarter is great. A lot of economists were expecting 2.5%.
Okay.
So that's like 0.7% higher than...
And that's the entire U.S.?
Entire U.S.
Okay.
Yeah.
Economic growth across the board.
So that's pretty massive. And, you know, that along with earnings is just causing, you know, stocks are at an all-time high. We can see the S&P 500 is at 293.79. It broke all-time highs, I think, either today or yesterday. Okay. So all-time highs, the S&P 500 broke it, which is insane. It's going to be 300 soon, potentially, but it's just a massive roller coaster, and we are really going to see if we can hold, you know, if this is still a bullish market. And so, yeah, some of the earnings this week, Alphabet did yesterday. I think they were up 1.7% on their earnings. Let me double check that because I don't want to say.
Is this all a huge coincidence that this is all happening at once, or is this something that happens every year?
Well, I mean, yeah, companies report their earnings quarterly, right? The SEC demands that.
But all at the same time?
Well, I guess Alphabet and Apple just happen to line up, you know. Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna see what their earnings were like. Earnings per share were above expected. The revenue was below expected, though, overall. So it looks like it kind of... overall revenue increased by 17%, but just the growth is lower. So I guess they're doing okay. Anyway, so yeah, we got a lot of big earnings this week.
So they attributed that to ad revenue?
Yes.
Because I thought that was interesting. You mentioned that. I got this like package in the mail, like snail mail. It was a promotional offer for Google AdWords for my business. And I'm like,
In the mail?
I already have Google AdWords, but it was like $150 credit. So
Oh, yeah.
So I was interesting to see that they
In
were
your email.
in my mail, in the snail mail.
I thought you like got it physically.
No, it came in my mail.
Oh, seriously?
In my mailbox.
Wow.
Yeah, so I know you didn't believe me, but I picked it up yesterday and I was like,
You gotta show me it.
Google sent me mail without me asking for it? What is this? I can
That's
show
so
you.
funny. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at it after. I don't know if I believe him, but yeah, either way, like I said, this whole week is just a roller coaster. Lots of earnings this week, and it's going to be a testament to the summer what goes on this week if we can hold these all-time highs, because we've been in a bullish market since January, and with rates staying steady, what is this a factor of?
They can't go any lower.
No.
The rates can't
No,
go
they
any
can't
lower.
go lower.
Really. So
Not feasibly, so.
Where do they go? We'll see.
Anyways, that's the Thursday news item. Sam, why don't you finish it off with the Slack there?
Yeah. Thank you for introducing that. So what's happening here is, if not everyone's already aware, Slack is planning an IPO.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure when,
Yeah.
sometime soon.
Definitely this year, I think.
But there's filings with the SEC, with the U.S. government, the regulators. So Slack has noted that they plan to spend at least $250 million on Amazon Web Services over 5 years. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure they have some sort of contract in place, especially with these large businesses. They do, the contract isn't the average month-to-month contract.
Big dollars.
Big dollars.
Massive dollars.
Lots of years, too. So in this situation, Amazon had mentioned that as well, that almost 50% of their revenues come from Amazon Web Services.
That's insane.
So they don't really get into detail where these particular contracts are coming from, what businesses they're coming from, where the money originates. Mm-hmm. But that's huge. Like, it's going to show that these subscription services are taking over. Like, obviously, Amazon is huge.
And the fact that, wait, you said 50% or more than 50%?
Almost 50% of Amazon's revenue is coming from AWS alone.
So that's crazy because, like, think how much shit they sell. Like, they sell a lot of... They start with books, and now they just sell a lot of stuff. And that is almost 50%?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it says... So they're making $7.7 billion in revenue off of Amazon Web Services.
That's crazy.
So it kind of speaks to the subscription market nowadays.
Yep.
Where, people are subscribing to things and they don't pay for it once, and it's just paid for over time. I think it's great for Slack to jump on the bandwagon with this.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've already been on there for a while. Slack has been using AWS for a while, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And simply because at one point they were a startup quite recently.
Yep.
I'd say relatively. But it's just so easy for these companies to use Amazon. I think Amazon Web Services is just going to blow up. It's going to be huge.
Yeah, it already is.
And it says in this article, did you know Apple uses AWS for iCloud?
I did not. I thought Apple had their own cloud infrastructure, but I guess Amazon, like Slack's using it, Apple,
Uber and Lyft,
Pinterest apparently too.
Yep.
Yeah, they were just dominating that space. No one can compete with that. So, the article was about Slack spending the money on Amazon, but I think it's good for them. It's reliable. I think that's what they care about. They got lots of dollars in them.
Yeah, I didn't want to change the subject too much, but I think this is insane. Like, yes, Slack is going public and they're spending all this money on Amazon Web Services, but this is going to show that it's so easy to, if you want to build a business, all the infrastructure is there.
Yeah.
Especially with online businesses.
You don't need to do.
And now suddenly they're going public.
Sometimes you don't need to build everything from scratch. Sometimes you just gotta use existing tools out there. Just to add on to that, Slack's minimum AWS spend is equivalent to 12% of their annual revenue, and it's 10% of its operating expenses. 10% of their operating expenses is AWS, which is I think 50 million a year.
That's crazy.
That's
So that goes to show.
That's only
like,
10%. Where else are they spending their expenses on?
But I think of 10%.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of says maybe that AWS is their entire data center. Like it's everything, that all their stuff is on Amazon.
Yeah.
Amazon's data centers. That's crazy.
They reported a net loss of $138 million this year.
Actually, you mentioned that. How
are they making money? I guess there's probably a pro business account.
I would assume that there's... Yeah. I know a few businesses, a couple clients that I've worked with, they use Slack as their primary messaging platform as opposed to like Skype for Business. So I bet you they have a business plan of some sort where they, have a monthly subscription.
No.
I just think that's crazy. Like, it's so easy. All right, so before we close it off with this one, I want to add one more question. Leave your answers in the comment section. What do you think is going to happen with the Slack IPO? With all the revenues and all these expenses that we've talked about, do you think that it'll be just like the Lyft IPO?
Mm-hmm. I think that's going to happen.
Just like the Snapchat IPO? I'm not sure if I mentioned earlier, but some of the SEC filings that Slack has filed speak specifically to a lot of debts.
Lots of debt. And like I said, they reported a loss this year.
Yeah.
So why are you going to invest in a company that's not even profitable yet?
You know what? And that's just the trend with these businesses.
Yeah. They get all these big freaking investments.
Yeah.
And when it's like, what happens? Like, it's like three guys, they have an idea, we want $10 million.
I think a lot of these tech companies are kind of in a better position to recoup all these expenses, but I think we'll see. We'll have to see. And
all the initial shareholders are going to sell off,
Yep.
They're going to get their billions and then move on to something else. So I don't think it's going to last. But yeah, like Sam said, let us know in the comments below what you feel about Slack's IPO and IPOs in general on how you play them. I personally don't trade them. They're not really my forte. I just like trading this bad boy, the SPY over here. But let us know in the comments. Once again, we appreciate you for checking out this episode 6 of To The Point Podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. We do this weekly, and we love talking about recent news items and letting you guys know what's in the market. So you can watch us on a drive home or, after work, whatever you want to.
Listen to us on the drive home.
On the drive home, yes.
If you're driving.
I'm going to start uploading these on Spotify and Apple, iTunes Music? Apple Podcasts, I think.
Apple Podcasts, is it not Apple Music?
Apple Music or
Apple
something.
Music, something like that.
We will make an official WeTrade account for that so you can listen to just the audio. I have all of them set up. I just need to start uploading them. So if you're not a big fan of YouTube, you'll be able to watch them on there. With that said, thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe. Hit that like button. Give us a comment. That would mean the world to me and Sam and WeTradeHQ. And we will catch you on the next episode next week for episode 7. So thank you guys and have a good one.
Thanks again. Catch you guys later.
Peace out.
Peace.